Now, on Wednesday, March the 8th, Jerome Powell will give his semi-annual monetary policy testimony to the House Financial Services Committee. This testimony is known as the Humphrey-Hawkins testimony, and it is a biannual report given to Congress in the US. This testimony is a major focus right now, as Powell will talk about the path of US interest rates. Now, since that very strong non-farm payrolls report on February the 3rd, expectations have been growing for a more hawkish Fed. US retail sales were higher, CPI was higher, PPI were higher, particularly the month-on-month metrics. Also, the Fed's preferred measure of inflation, the core PCE print, was higher than anticipated. So, with STIR markets now seeing a peak rate of around 5.5%, will Powell give clues as to how high interest rates will go? Will Powell even hint at a peak over 8%? Now, after such hawkish expectations have really been priced in for the last sort of 5 weeks or so, the best opportunity will likely come from Powell if he talks up the latest disinflationary moves, with the headline inflation print falling lower and the core CPI falling lower on a trend basis over the last few months. If Powell gives any signs or hints of a Fed peak is soon, and if the peak is expected to be around 5.5%, or there's some chance of a US soft landing, any kind of language like that would likely lift stocks. And if Powell does take this more dovish approach, then that will be also in keeping with the reaction in the S&P 500 over the last 15 years on the Humphrey-Hawkins testimony. You can see here the red line is the time of the testimony, and you can see leading into the testimony the day before and leading out of the testimony for the 2 days following. The S&P 500 over the last 15 years, covering those 29 events, has tended to gain. So if Powell is perceived as dovish, that will be in line with the most recent seasonal dynamic around this testimony. Powell will be speaking at 3 o'clock UK time and 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So do watch out for potential S&P 500 gains out of the testimony speech. Major trade risks. Now, the major trade risk here would be if Powell's more hawkish and hints at peak rates coming in at over 6%. That's most likely to send the S&P 500 lower and not higher. Remember, don't just trade it, but season exit.